Welcome to Ananth Science Academy. In this video, you can watch a very simple explanation for electron transport system. ETS. Electron transport system is a series of protein complexes that transfer electrons from electron donors to electron acceptors via redox reactions and couples the electron transfer with the transfer of protons across the membrane. To understand this ETS, let's just recall the structure of mitochondria. Mitochondria, or otherwise known as the powerhouse of the cell, is the cell organelle which has two membranes. The outer membrane, which is a continuous one, and the inner membrane, which has many infoldings that are known as cristae. In between these two membranes, that is the outer membrane and the inner membrane, there is a space that is known as intermembrane space. This electron transport system is located in the inner membrane of the mitochondria. Now, let's take a small portion of this mitochondrial membrane. This is the outer membrane. This is the inner membrane, and in between this outer and inner membrane we have intermembrane space, and this is the matrix of the mitochondria. The electron transport system, which is located on the inner membrane of the mitochondria, there are 5 protein complexes: complex 1, complex 2, complex 3, complex 4 and complex 5, and in between these complexes we have an electron carrier 1 and another electron carrier 2. Now let's see what are these complexes and the electron carriers. Complex 1, NADH dehydrogenase enzyme. Complex 2 is succinate dehydrogenase or FADH dehydrogenase enzyme. Carrier 1 is ubiquinone or otherwise known as coenzyme Q. Complex 3 is cytochrome BC1 complex. The next carrier is cytochrome C. Complex 4 is cytochrome oxidase complex. Complex 5 is ATP synthase enzyme. And the final electron acceptor in this electron transport system is oxygen. Now let's see how the electrons are carried through these complexes along with the transfer of protons across the membrane. Complex 1 receives electrons by the oxidation of NADH. Protons are released into the intermembrane space. Complex 2 receives electrons by the oxidation of FADH2. Electrons from complex 1 and complex 2 are transferred to ubiquinone, the first electron carrier of the electron transport system. Ubiquinone transfers the electrons to complex 3 and protons are pumped into the intermembrane space. Electrons pass from complex 3 to cytochrome C, the second electron carrier. From cytochrome C, electrons pass to complex 4. Oxygen is the last electron acceptor, and it combines with hydrogen ions in the matrix of the mitochondria to form water. The electrochemical gradient produced by the buildup of hydrogen ions in the intermembrane space has a large amount of potential energy ready to be released. You just think of water stored in a dam which has high potential energy. The hydrogen ions or protons move down the concentration gradient into the matrix through ATP synthase enzyme. As the hydrogen ions move through the channel, the kinetic energy they provide helps ATP synthase to add a phosphate to ADP to form high energy ATP. In this way, the electrons released by the oxidation of NADH and FADH are transferred to oxygen, and that leads to the formation of water. The accumulation of protons in the intermembrane space and breaking down of its gradient leads to the formation of ATP by chemiosmotic synthesis. Hope this video is useful for you to understand the electron transport system. Subscribe the channel Ananth Science Academy for more such videos. For the notes for this electron transport system, you can refer the description of this video. All the best.